How goes the family? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Uh, it's another beautiful day, so let's get it. We're going to be talking about people making specific chess moves. Are they going to be doing it? Are they doing it? For the ones that aren't going to be making any chess economic moves in life, then unfortunately, they may be living off their family members, living off their children in the future, or they just may be all right homeless or possibly, unfortunately, dead. I don't wish that on anybody because that's the economy we're living in today. That's the economy we're living in tomorrow, and I can't put it any other way. So just going to be brutally honest about it. All right. So, but before I get into it, thank you for tuning in. Larry's Anything Goes is all about, talk about economic matters on all levels, getting different perspectives on all levels. And, um, we just want to get the word out and call it a day. All right. So let's go into what most working people do. Let's, because a lot of people made this comparison. I make this comparison, and we go from there. But a lot of working people. Let me see if this will work. Always something going on, but at least my computer didn't crap out on me. I needed to do an update last night. Didn't realize it until this morning. But anyways, most working people, because we're taught to just only get a good education, get a skill trade, and get a job, and don't do anything else outside of that realm. Most working people are playing chess, and there are a lot of playing checkers, and there's a lot of working people that are actually playing chess, because they utilize their job to not only finance their well-being in their life, but they utilize their job to finance their goals and aspirations outside of their job, or especially I see with the skilled trades people all the time. They develop companies on the side, S corps, LLCs, and things of that nature. They do side work, or a lot of times when they develop enough customers or got enough business and enough savings to, and even generated enough money to even get a specific amount of loans from banks, from a personal perspective and a business perspective, to fund their businesses, they end up walking off the job, or they just work part-time at their job and whatnot. So just remember, we don't job shame here at Larry's Anything Goes. I'm just saying that for the people that have jobs and that are playing checkers with their job, because that example I just gave you earlier, that's what one is doing when they're playing chess with their job. Okay, they're doing their job and doing what they're supposed to do, but they're making chess moves when they get off the clock. Being economically inclined doesn't stop um, just because your 9 to 5 stops and whatnot. Being economically sound doesn't stop because your 9 to 5 stops. And that's really, at the end of the day, the point I'm making. So I will read the definition of actually the game of checkers, and then I will talk about how it kind of relates to life when it comes to working people and all that good stuff. So the rules of checkers, most people don't know. It's like the game's been around for a long, long, long time. It's actually a fun game. When I was younger, I used to play it all the time. And when I started my working in the career fields that I was working in, I was playing it back then as well. But checkers is basically a board game played between two people on a board. Each player has 12 pieces, and that are flat around, and they fit the size of the boxes that are on the checkers board, things of that nature. Each checker player has different color pieces, and sometimes the pieces are black and red, um, or and black and red and white and whatnot. Everybody has a turn to take and whatnot. Typically, the darker colored pieces move first. Each player takes their turn by moving a piece. Pieces are always moved diagonally and can be moved in the following ways: forward direction towards opponent to the next dark square. If there is one of the opponent's pieces next to the piece and an empty space on the other side, you jump your opponent and remove their piece. You can do multiple jumps if they are lined up in forward direction. Note, if you jump, you have no choice but to take it. King pieces, usually the last row is called the king row. If you get a piece across the board to the opponent's king row, that piece becomes a king. Another piece is placed into that piece, so it is now 2 pieces high. King pieces can move in both directions, forward and backwards. Once a piece is kinged, The player must wait until the next turn to jump out of the king row and whatnot. Winning the game, you win the game when the opponent has no more pieces or can't move, even if he or she slash still has pieces. If neither player can move, then it is basically a draw or a tie. Now, in my perspective, this is how it relates to everyday life when it comes to checkers and how the game is played. Now, I just gave you a great example of how earlier, how I'm not job shaming, how people that have jobs to finance their goals and aspirations are winning in a various amounts of ways. So no job shaming here. A lot of people utilize their jobs. Heck, Steve Harvey used to work at a freaking plant and look where he is now. So nobody's job shaming. That's not what I do. Anyways, but at the end of the day, the king pieces are the one that actually can make more moves and things of that nature. And in my personal opinion, the king pieces in the checkers game is basically the working person that actually is the person that actually stacked their chips, figured out different ways to invest their money, figured out different ways to think outside of the box in order for them to win. And then in certain instances, the king pieces are the ones that are get promoted at jobs, become the general manager, project manager, supervisor, things of that nature. So they get promoted, they get paid more, they get access to more information, they get access to how the organization works. They get, in some instances, they get to travel a lot more. And then therefore they get other opportunities to move up. They might even get access to more education programs so that they can be more beneficial to the organization. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if the king, like I said, there's two kinds of kings in this instance for me. There's the king that's stacking their chips, investing and possibly opening up businesses or business and whatnot so that they can have an option outside of their job. And then there's the king that actually moves up in a specific organization, public, private, doesn't matter. They move up in a specific organization, but say if that organization it was to go bankrupt and whatnot, then they would have to go back to the drawing board. Certain instances, starting off as just a regular peace player at another organization, because a lot of times, and I've seen this firsthand. A lot of people, supervisors in a lot of organizations, they may lose their job because of something happened on the job. The organization is doing cutbacks, so they just go out of business. Because that can especially happen in corporate America. Um, and then a lot of times they end up getting a job elsewhere at lower pay and not even working in the supervisor capacity and whatnot. Or if they are working in a supervisor capacity, they're actually making less money. So that's why I call them those are the checker players, because to me, the chess player is the one that keeps it has a multitude of options of in regards to how one can make money. And then two, they put themselves in a position to where they don't have to have a job because their business is doing so well and their investments are doing so well, or they put themselves in a position where their job becomes an option because a lot of people love their job. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you, because I ran into a lot of people, especially a lot of senior citizens who, they're still working, they're doing it because they're staying busy. They're not doing it. And, they've said, like, hey, I don't have to be here. So they don't take any nonsense from the boss. It's like, hey, I'm just here because I need something to do, but I can always just, do DoorDash or do Grubhub, if I really needed extra money. So that's where we are today in today's society and whatnot. But and then hey, let me know in the comment section what side do you play, and it doesn't matter to my personal opinion. As long as you're happy at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't care what side of the game you play on. But I think from 2021 and moving forward, I don't think it's in anyone's best interest to just be a regular chess player or a regular chess king. I mean, regular checkers player or regular checkers king player and whatnot. We have to all be chess players because we have no choice. Okay. And even getting more disciplined in how we are in life and whatnot is one of the best things that we need to do. Because one thing about the pandemic economy, even for me, it gave us more opportunity to be a little bit more lackadaisical. I mean, even though I was, working harder, making more content and whatnot. But I was disregarding a lot of other areas, especially in regards to making sure I go to bed earlier, make sure I wake up earlier. I'm still exercising, but having a better diet, did stuff like that. Just doing your best to not only take care of yourself, but to ensure that you're getting even the right amount of information inside your brain. Because a lot of times, especially in the social media world, there's a lot of great stuff out there, but it's not necessarily it might be entertaining, but it's not really valuable to what you want to do with your life in regards to elevating yourself. And we all get hung up on that kind of stuff. But I just don't think it behooves any working person to be a checkers player anymore. We all have to be chess players in regards to when it comes down to money. Okay, because we live in a society where we know now, if you're not in a position where your money's constantly working for you, then you will work to the day you die. Quoting Warren Buffett. It is what it is. All right, now let's get into the rules of game of chess. I wasn't always the best chess player on the game, but I am working to be the best chess player when it comes to making specific amount of money moves from an investment standpoint and from a business standpoint. That's just me. Okay, now rule number one: the king may move one square in any direction so long as no piece is blocking his path. The queen may move any number of squares straight or diagonally in any direction. The rook may move in a straight line any number of squares horizontally or vertically. The bishop may move any number of squares diagonally. The only piece that can jump over a piece, be it your own or the opponent, is the knight. The pawn on its first move may move either one or two squares straight forward. Now, most people, working people, are pawns. Okay. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, because one is a pawn if they can only move one or two ways in life and whatnot. Okay, well, they don't have more options than the other players that are on, quote unquote, considered on top. Because even by reading this list and whatnot, obviously the king is on top, the queen is number two, the rook is number three, the bishop is number four, and the knight is number five, and the pawn is on the freaking bottom. Okay, so that's, when you just look at it like that, a lot of the working people that don't have a multitude of options are on the bottom economically on the sphere. It's just what it is. If it's a corporation, if it's a government, if it's a nonprofit organization, it's just what it is. I'm not talking down to anybody, because great example. I ran into, yeah, I even give a great example. I worked in an organization, this one actual landscaper. He worked for a company and whatnot, but he actually had a cleaning company on the side, and he actually gained two government contracts as a cleaning company. And he's like, "Hey, I'm quitting this landscaping gig because my cleaning company's taking off or whatnot." So he, from others in society, he was looked at as the pawn, but he's actually moved up, to my personal opinion, as being the king, because he took his company from this to this. And that was a couple years ago, and I've even checked, forgot the name of his company, but I've seen that even now he has his own website and whatnot. He's got more contracts with other organizations, public and private. So, everybody can start off on a lower level, but it's all about the will. It's all about the mindset. Brother Ronnie Samuel always says mindset is everything. And what you think is what you can conceive and what you can perceive, and you can just move forward from there, right? And then, because, hey, you can move, because he even moved from being a pawn to being a knight, to being a bishop, to being a rook, to being a queen, to being a king. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, he had to learn how to even do business. He had to take courses in regards to how to become a successful government contract owner and whatnot, and how to even put in proposals to become to get government contracts. I think he was getting contracts with the state of Virginia and whatnot. And then I think he might have got some with the federal government. But, there's levels to everything. So, and we all have a part to play in our levels, from the pawns to the knights to the bishops to the rooks to the queen to the king. Everybody has a part to play. But the beautiful thing about the United States of America is, if you play the game right, you have the opportunity to move up and elevate in so many different ways. Case in point, I always say this, but I've seen immigrants that can't even speak English elevate and move up in a specific way, especially given the fact that they work from a cohesive force. Instead of 1 to 2 incomes, you got 8 to 10 incomes. So you can do a lot in this country, in any state, if you got 8 to 10 incomes contributing to the pot, and that pot buys an asset, and then that asset can buy another asset, and then just keep going and going and going and going like the freaking Energizer Bunny. Okay, so that's why. And in this instance, as I move on, I'm going to talk about a great story of some wonderful chess players this year. And it all starts with Mr. Kevin O'Leary, great man that actually went in on a specific story talking about these wonderful chess players. So let's get into it, okay? Because he reacted to a couple who actually retired in their 30s with $870,000. He stated, of course, he kept it simple, and I like him because he keeps it simple. He can be a jerk sometimes, but hey, I like people that speak their mind. He says, I like people that plan like that. Okay, um, because according to the article, it takes a lot to impress Kevin O'Leary, and that is so true. But early retirees Steve and Courtney Adcock did it with their strict dedication to the retirement plan and a commitment to never trying to time the market. All right. The article stated that the chairman of O Shares ETFs and judge on CNBC's new show Money Court. Never heard of this show. Might have to check it out. The episode, the Adcox episode of CNBC's Millennial Money, and they shared, and obviously he shared his take on their story and whatnot, Kevin O'Leary. But in this specific episode, 39-year-old Steve and 36-year-old Courtney, they retired in 2000. So, okay, this was in 2016. It's before the pandemic, with a combined net worth of $870,000. Talk about the importance of being financially savvy because they haven't added a penny to their investment since they left their full-time jobs. This is interesting. They currently live in the state of Arizona, and they keep their spending to a minimum, including just $144 in property taxes each month. So they probably live in one of those smaller towns where it's normal. Because one beautiful thing about small town America, love it or hate it, it's very normal for people to own houses and pass them down from family to family. So a lot of times people just have to worry about the property taxes and the insurance and whatnot, and obviously take care of any things that may happen to the property. But anyways, that's very, very low. Article stated, I don't care where you are, that's incredibly low. Kevin O'Leary stated, and he says that means you are also in the middle of nowhere. And just like I stated earlier, if you're okay with that, that's great. Exactly. A lot of people love being out in the middle of nowhere, off the grid and away from people. Nothing wrong with that. Heck, during the pandemic, that's probably where you want to be, is in a small rural town. But anyways, the Adcocks admit that their choices are different from many other people their age. They had no desire. They had no desire to go back to their day jobs. I get that. They also have no regrets about cost-cutting measures they had to employ to get where they are now, including selling their house and eliminating almost all their restaurant spending for more than a year. That's dedication. Kevin O'Leary says, I like this guy. He's really pragmatic. You've got to sacrifice like crazy, but you don't want your life to feel like a sacrifice because that's living in hell. And they don't live in hell. That's what Kevin O'Leary says. And I agree with that. He also stated that the couple earned a very high mark of 8.76 out of 10 for the simple reason that they had a well thought out financial life plan. All right. And I get that before I even go forward. You either plan to fail or you fail to plan. That's how life works. That's how the money game works. I don't care what state you live in. I don't care what country you live in. If there's not a plan in place, and even couples, if couples aren't talking about this on a regular basis, like I always say, finances need to be up there with NFL, NBA, versus all that stuff. The finances need to be on top of all those specific subject matters. Politics, I don't care what, video games, whatever you're into, the finances need to be number one. Not only how you make it, but how you save it, how you invest it. Period. That's my personal perspective. Nobody's going to change my mind on that one. All right. The article stated that they called it retirement, but it's the way they wanted their lifestyle to go, and they wanted to be able to afford it. He said they did it successfully. Kevin O'Leary says, I like people that plan that way and execute on their plan. And that's another thing, because in the social media world, people love to talk, but there's not a lot of execution in play. I love people that execute. So I'm with Kevin O'Leary on that one. And at the end of the day, Kevin O'Leary says, living in the middle of nowhere is not for me. He said, I prefer to be in a city where I can go out to a restaurant for dinner or whatever. But for this couple, it's working, and, to each their own. And I agree with that statement 100%. I agree with that statement 100%. These people, and that's another thing a lot of people don't want to take into consideration. People will sacrifice their time, money, and debt and wealth, health when it comes to getting an education, being in the military, certain job capacities, whatever the case may be, having children, getting married, the whole nine. But when it comes to sacrificing your spending habits and where you live, a lot of people won't make that sacrifice. Okay. A lot of people will not look at life at living below their means. I've told people, I I make a decent amount of money, whatnot, but I still live my life like I'm 16. The only time I really spend a lot of money is when I go on vacation, whatnot, because that's my treat to myself and whatnot. But it's like but I still, you look at most people look at me, they think I make $14 to $16 an hour, and I want it to be that way. I'm not the bragging type. Don't need to be the bragging type. The only thing that needs to be bragging is when I look inside my bank account apps and whatnot. That's it. When I'm looking at my planning or whatnot, that's the bragging part on me. I don't need to brag about a car, a watch, and all that other nonsense. A house, been there, done that. It ain't that serious, okay? But the people that are about investing and whatnot, those are the ones that are going to win. Working people, people that own businesses. Well, obviously, if you're a business owner, you have to have an investment mindset and whatnot, especially if you want to grow. But the investing culture is real, and it needs to be put on the same plateau as sports and entertainment. I know it doesn't sound sexy. I think you can thank a lot of the podcasters out there that are making it sexy. They're making it entertaining, and they're bringing entertainers on so they can make it more entertaining, so people want to get more and more involved. That's why so many platforms like a Jay Morrison, who shout out to him because he's doing the corner classes again. I admire that and I respect that. EYL University, Dr. Voice Watkins, the list goes on and on. Okay. Jason Black, the list goes on and on. People are, meet Kevin, Graham, Stephan. Like I said, the list goes on. There's so many people out there. I can't even name them all. But these people are making it, I have to say, they're making economics sexy because they know the importance of it. Most of these people, they make money off of doing this, but they know the importance of it because they know the unfortunate part is the people that are not taking heed today and from 10 years from now in regards to having an investment mindset and being a part of the investment culture, because it is a culture, then a lot of those people are going to contribute to the homeless population in the future. That is the sad part, okay? Because I don't care what job you have, even a six-figure salary. If you don't have a good saving ethic and an investment ethic, then your job it's just going to keep you in that same category for what a job stands for. Just over broke. That's all I can say. A job will keep you just over broke if you don't know how to save and invest your money. Period. Consult a financial professional. Don't just say Larry told me to save and invest. Consult a financial professional. See where you're at. See where you're going, and see where you want to be. That's all I can say on that one. Okay, because that's just what it is, especially in the age of automation, and especially we're in the age of remote working, which I talked about last night, even though it wasn't my best broadcast, but I got it done. But we're in the age of remote working where a lot of people living outside of the United States is going to be normal. That's all I can say about that. In the next 10 to 20 years, a lot of remote working people, it's going to be normal. And even people who have businesses online, it's just going to be so normal for people to live outside of the United States. And that's going to affect the economy in a different way. It's going to affect states and cities in a different way. I've said that 1,000 times and I'll say it again. Okay. Right now, Texas is the #1 state people are moving to, but I guarantee 3 to 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about the #1 country that Americans are moving to, because they're going to say Texas is too expensive. Bet on that. Anyways, to end this video off, moving into the next aspect of it, why baby boomers? Because we're living in a time frame where most baby boomers are retiring now. But according to Investopedia, which is a pretty accurate publication, there's a multitude of baby boomers. There's a good chunk of baby boomers lack retirement funds. And I'm going to read the key reasons why Investopedia stated this. And I happen to agree with this. The key reason is baby boomers lack funds in the stock market decline during the Great Recession. This event scared many older adults out of the market, causing them to miss a subsequent rebound. Panic selling, although understandable at the time, decimated many retirement accounts. It did. The following years of low interest rates drastically undermining the yields of bond funds that savers and retirees were urged to purchase. These yields, in turn, were invested in capital that earned virtually no interest, with wages plateauing. It was difficult for most workers to ramp up savings in their final earning years. The most recent blow has been obviously the huge losses and gyrations of the stock market due to the panic selling in February and March of 2020. Even those who resisted likely took heavy hits to their assets, making all this worse, lacking of planning. I was talking about planning earlier. This is the first generation to face savings for retirement on their own, says Essel Foster, CFP and principal at Harbor Financial Group Incorporated, stated, I believe only on earlier on, there was a lack of information on the importance of saving early and often. The assumption seemed to be you are on your own. With luck, Generation X and the millennials will benefit from seeing the impact of not planning early, but the boomers have to deal with this now. The percentage of baby boomers that have a backup plan for retirement income if forced into retirement sooner than expected, according to Insured Retirement Institute. Is this a crisis? I think this is. I think this is because, unfortunately, you, there were a significant amount of the population, but not enough of the population that had an investment mindset, had a savings mindset and whatnot, and did not look at the stock market as an evil being. Because I will say, I know a lot of baby boomers. I'm not talking bad about, I'm not doing this generation versus generation nonsense, but I've had conversations with a lot of baby boomers who were terrified of the stock market with good reasons because of what's happened, because we do live in a boom and bust economy. But unfortunately, too many of them were dependent on Social Security, which is basically a joke. Because I've seen the numbers, and I'm just like, you can't, in most parts of this country, you can't live off of that. And pensions for the most part are gone. Everything is a 401k now. So between the quote unquote 401ks and your Social Security and whatnot, that's just not going to cut it. And the problem is, a lot of people, I think it'll cut it for the ones that paid off their houses and whatnot, but they better hope that the property taxes in the state that they live in, because even in a state like Texas is pretty high, because that's how these no tax income states can, make up the difference and whatnot. They make it easier for people to buy a house. So there you go. Anyways, but is this a crisis? I think it is. I think it's going, I think within the next couple of years, you may, I don't want it to see this, but you may see an increase in the homeless population in all the major cities, because unless a lot of these boomers' children take them in, because a lot of people did not, because the financial consultants are not new. They've been around for decades, but a lot of people, in my personal opinion, one should consult a financial professional as much as they consult a doctor when it comes to their health. That's just my personal opinion, okay? Because we can all learn something new every day at any age. I don't know everything. I never claimed to know everything, and I never will, all right? But anyways, the article stated whether or not this can be called a crisis depends on which boomers are being discussed, including the types of assets they can access. Boomers who own their own home in an era with lower cost of living may be able to live on quite a bit less than a rent-paying retiree in a major metropolitan area. The generational renters and whatnot are going to suffer. That's just period, for all ages and whatnot. According to the Social Security Administration, 90% of retirees today receive Social Security benefits, in contrast to only 69% of retirees in 1962. The average Social Security benefit is $1,500 a month and this is as of 2020. Substantially less than the average wage, which is approximately $3,668, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So $1,500 a month. That's not a lot of money. I'm just going to, especially if you look at the price of gas, the price of rents, mortgages are decent now, with the interest rates and whatnot. But, you look at the price of a lot of things, and $1,500 is just not a lot of money. That's just what it is. So at the end of the day, we have to take money seriously. I can't put it any other way. We have to take money more seriously. A lot of the frivolous spending, and trying to show off and thinking, I'll wait for next year to save, and I'll wait for next year to start learning how to invest and whatnot. I'll wait till next year to start a business and whatnot. We have to start taking investing money seriously. That's all I can say. That's why we say make money moves or live broke like a fool, because unfortunately there's going to be a lot of people, especially retired now, that may live broke like fools. All right. And this other article, like I said, I'm not trying to go too long tonight because I've been past 30 minutes and whatnot. Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing, brother? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, Chris. Property tax in Texas is no joke. Exactly. It's just one of those things. It's like people have to take these things into consideration. You know, where do you really want to see your life economically? Most people want to be alive 20, 30 years from now. So I'm not even going to ask that question. But where do you want to see your life economically within the next 20 or 30 years? And it's just, you know, it's nothing to play with. But there's a lot of college students that are dropping out at an alarming rate nowadays, because obviously, because of a lot of issues going on with the pandemic. Certain people still can't afford, even though a lot of people are able to put a pause on their student loans, things of that nature. But a recent Census Bureau survey said 16 million Americans have canceled plans to go to college. The biggest reason given were fears over contracting a specific virus and not being, because I'm not going to say it online, and not being able to afford college given the economic disruption caused by the pandemic. Students from families that earned less than $75,000 a year are more than twice as likely to have canceled college plans this semester. All right. And that's just, it's something interesting to take into consideration. The worst news is that history shows us that once a college student drops out, fewer than 1 in 5 ever goes back to school. The downturn, especially among students of color, stands to erase years of progress. And all I can say is this. I'm going to quote Facebook, Google, and a lot of other tech giant companies. These organizations, billion-dollar organizations, don't even value a college education as much as they do skill sets and whatnot. That's why they have their own universities where if you pass certain classes, you're certified as a specific professional in specific fields and whatnot. Am I saying college is not good? No, because I went to college. I'm all for college education, but since we're talking economics, I'm all about people being as sound as possible when it comes to college, because, you know, can the future generation handle the burden of student loans? That's another question. I can't answer that. I think it's been hard enough on millennials. So given the fact, you know, the next generation going to college, coming out of college right now, having $80,000 to $100,000 in debt, and you haven't even gotten your life started yet. You're not even guaranteed a job yet. There's just a lot of things to take into consideration. So that's all I can say on that note. That's just it's real in the field, and a lot of people have to answer that question for themselves. You know, it's like I said last night. It's like, hey, for the people that has the child credit thing going on, and if you don't have a significant amount of savings, if you don't have any investments going on for your kids and whatnot, now's the time to start doing it. Now's the time to get your financial planner going on and whatnot, because to quote KRS-One, before I call it a night, to quote KRS-One, there was a song that says love is going to get you. Well, in this instance, in 2021 and beyond, economics is going to get you if you don't take your finances seriously. Okay. Economics is going to get you if you do not take your finances seriously. So all I can say is that, hey, Chris, if you want to chime in real quick before I call it a night, let me know. I'll put this in the comment section. But it's real in the field. And a lot of people, I just don't think that they take this seriously enough, in my personal opinion. You know, real talk. I just don't think they take this stuff seriously. And, you know, if you're not making chess moves, then you're going to hurt even more so. And even more so for a lot of people, I've said it before, this was a come up economically for people. This was the economic come up for a lot of working people, especially that were on unemployment, especially people who have children. This was an economic come up for a lot of working people. But what are you doing with the money? Are you doing the right things? Or are you just going splurging and going on vacation? You try to show off in front of people. That's it's like the whole flossing and all that nonsense. That's done. That's done in my personal opinion. We got to get past that. The real flossing is I can wake up when I want to because I'm not worried about my boss and whatnot. So what's going on, Chris?
Doing good. Yourself?
You know what I mean. Everything's chicken but the bone because I'm at home.
Oh yeah, just test out this new camera. So unfortunately, you don't see my face, but it's all good.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say you hiding, you
There
sitting
we
in
go.
the dark. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's a 4K camera, so it's acting up a little bit. So I might just cut it off for now.
Okay, it's all good. Well, yeah, man. What's your perspective on this, brother?
I mean, everything you said is true. You ain't wrong. A lot of things is going to happen next few years, so you got to be prepared, and
Absolutely.
you got to take chances too. Like like you said, like the baby boomers, they had a lot of money saved. I mean, I just looked at the stocks today. I think Amazon is from last year to this year, they're now at $3,600 a share.
Yep.
Now, last year it was at 2,800.
Mm-hmm.
So people that got the money saved up. Now, I'm not saying throw $3,600 immediately because I don't care anybody say, unless you're bringing in over like six figures a year, that's a lot of money you want to put on one time. So just put your money in the stocks, build it up, find the right stocks. Don't jump into like the penny stocks, or don't jump into like any fads or any meme stock that you know that could go up and down if you're very nervous.
Like AMC and GameStop, right?
AMC did good for me when it was going up. I got out before it started going down, so it did good for me.
Right. I
It
couldn't agree
did
with you
good,
more
so
on
I
that
can't
one.
complain about that. But I mean, everything you said is right. And then also another thing I want to add in as well, when you said as college students are dropping out of college, you ain't wrong about that either. I mean, especially if they're going in for one career and realize how much they're paying for those for that degree, and then realize the job market is saturated to the point that they're not even paying as much compared to how much you put in for that. So you know, like you have people that's investing money for their career only to get a job that's not even equal the amount of your investment.
Bingo. You hit the nail on the head on that one. And you said the key word. People, I don't think people get it. They don't realize it or not. But in a capitalist society, everything's an investment, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah, it is.
It's just, are you investing in yourself, or are you just investing in someone else? Because when you go to the gas station, you're investing in someone else. When you go to the movie theater, the restaurant, you're investing in someone else. People don't get.
And then there's another thing you touched on too that actually that's why I wanted to join, and I wish I had my darn camera working because I wanted to show you. Hey, there we go.
There you go.
Much better, much better.
There you go.
But yeah, like just like you said about like people with fads going out spending money on things they may not have and stuff like that. Now, me, I'm at the point now that I ain't really gone to the store to buy like clothes and stuff like that because I keep my clothes extra clean and stuff as best as possible. And plus, working from home full time, you don't need to have like button up shirts, slacks, and shoes because you ain't going to the office. But at the same time, I'm now at the point, and we talked about this when you came down here too. So I got some things going on here. They came in.
Ah, there they go.
They came in.
There they go.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
This is the concept shoe that I made for my boys. It's basically it's for their company, but I made the concept shoe so and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Very nice. I finally get to see it.
Yeah,
everybody gets to see it.
My shirt came in at the same time from my company, so I'm walking. So even though I have no problem walking around with your shirts, sometimes I got to put my own name on it. So
I know that's right. Speaking of which, I ordered the saloon shirt.
Ah, awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I forgot to tell you that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
but
no
I got some other stuff for you too, because right now I'm now because I've seen how simple it is to start getting the clothes and everything like that and stuff. So I'm gonna let you know privately and stuff like that what I got going on. But the next few months, man, just watch out. I got some things going on now.
I know you do. That's what it's all about.
I've been studying Master P for the last 2 weeks, like intensely studying what he's been doing, stuff like that. So you're gonna see some things.
I'm looking forward to it, brother. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're gonna implement, you're gonna execute, and you're just gonna continuously to do great things. And at the end of the day, that's all that truly matters, in my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
Just keep on doing what you're doing in good old hot San Antonio. And I think I gained some of the weight back I lost down there. But no, I'm just kidding.
but everything that I'm doing now is like I said, once again, we talked about this when you were down here. Like everything has a plan. So
exactly,
the people that's like that's for anybody out there that's doing investments, buying real estate, opening your own hair salon, barbershop, restaurants, whatever. It's not going to come to you immediately. You have to take your time on it because there's a bigger picture for it. And if you do it right, you're going to see so much wealth and knowledge coming in to the point that you're not going to fail. You could just you could be like, okay, which island do I want to be on for this week? That's the type of money and wealth that you're going to accumulate over time. We do it right. If you rush things, oh, sorry, that's money talking right there. But if you keep rushing things and trying to go for the next big thing and everything like that without a plan, you're going to fail. And you got to have a strong team behind you. You could start off by yourself, but when you build up, but when you build up things, you're gonna have a team for it too. So take your time, build your team up. The fortune's gonna be there, and if you got a good product, a good service, people will come to you.
Amen to that. Amen to that, sir. Don't forget to put your brand information out there.
Oh, absolutely.
People know who you are and what you're about.
Oh yeah. So as you guys saw a little snippet on the shirt and everything like that. My name is Chris Edwards, owner of the Reaching Out Consultant. There he is. Focus a little bit.
There you go. There you go.
And my main job, my main life is to help businesses bring in more customers, bring in either more money, build up your clientele, build up your brand. That is exactly my job. I work hard to make for that. I strive to make sure you guys are successful. LJ can tell you straight up from the jump. We had plenty of conversations. I gave him just advice, just some simple advice. And I mean, look at him right now. It didn't even take long, just a simple advice here and there, and looking now, he's taking off. So I'm doing that for anybody. So you can either go to my website, contact me through there, or contact me through my emails. We can talk business, and I do what I can to help you reach your goals.
Amen to that, sir. Amen to that. And I appreciate it, man. And I hope you have a great night. Thanks again for coming through. And
no doubt.
Make those money moves. And I can't wait to hear what's going on in private.
Definitely, man.
Take care, brother.
All right, talk later, man.
I always love when Chris comes through. I always learn something new from him. Great guy, very intelligent. And he's continuously doing great things down there with his organization down there in San Antonio and beyond. So, you know, with the internet, everything transitions all over the world and whatnot. And that's what it's all about, looking out for each other and, you know, just learning from each other and go from there, because not all of us know everything. But it's definitely time for me to call it a night. I want to get back to getting a good night's sleep, family. So do the great three things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. As I always say, make money move or you're going to live broke like a fool. And I'm out. Oh, also don't forget to check out the online store. There's Anything Goes, sells a variety of products. Also, if you're a crypto investor like myself, don't forget to join the affiliate online marketing company, Gold Standard Partners. We have the opportunity to get a gold crypto card, and for others, to buy packages with the organization, make money off the package purchases and crypto purchases. Take care, family, and be blessed.